Have you all ever played a game and you thought, wow, this really deserved to be a little bit better the first time around? Well, that's Raidou Kuzunoa vs. the Soulless Army in a nutshell. I personally first played it back on the PS2 when I was in college, and while I did enjoy it, I didn't exactly go back for like a second time around, if you know what I mean. But now it is back, remastered, and definitely better than ever. But let's be real, because this is more like a remake in disguise. It has changed that much. I got some early access to the first couple of chapters, and I do want to tell you all about it, and I definitely think that's worth the sub, as I do try to level up my sub count this year. With your help, you're liking the sub, I just know that I can get there. Thanks so much for that. And now let's go ahead and all get started, going back to the 1920s. If there is one thing that this game has in spades, it's the vibes. You're in Taisho-era Tokyo, just reimagined with like demons around every corner. This here is SMT meets Sherlock Holmes with a little bit of Peaky Blinders thrown in for good measure. I mean, y'all know just how much I love my historical dramas. And I've just gotta say, the new HD visuals look fantastic. The music is moody, the lighting is warm, and even the polish makes everything feel current and modern. You play as Raidou Kuzunoa, the 14th apprentice devil summoner and newly minted detective intern at the Narumi Detective Agency. And your job, well, thankfully, it's not attending the local high school by day and fighting demons by moonlight. I mean, this isn't Sailor Moon. Instead, it's to protect the capital, solve supernatural mysteries, and do it all from the shadows so that the populace doesn't realize that all hell is breaking loose right under their noses. To aid you in your journey, you do have a talking black cat and an army of friends at your side. So maybe it is a little bit like Sailor Moon. Man, we need another Sailor Moon RPG, but I digress. Rather than fighting in turn-based battles like, pretty much every single other game in the SMT series, battles here are action-based. And if you played the first game back on the PS2 and you thought that it was just kind of like a little bit janky, well, you aren't alone, but all that jank is gone. It's been cleaned up. The gun, shockingly, actually works. You have infinite ammo and improved responsiveness. You can aim, shoot, stun, and even slow enemies down mid-combo. The whole sword play has been rebuilt too. You now have light and heavy attacks, which you're going to want to alternate back and forth with, as the light attacks restore your magic, while the heavy attacks deal extra damage. Then there's dodges, jumping, guarding, and cooldown based special skills. And that's just the stuff that Raidou himself can do. Never mind the fact that he has two demons fighting by his side as well, who you can switch out at any time in the middle of combat, which is just great. It's a really good idea to hit that select button and look and see what your enemy's weaknesses are, and then summon the appropriate demons to just, send them all straight back to hell. Oh, and did I mention you can jump now? Yeah, Raidou can jump. It's 2025, folks. Speaking of demons, I said earlier you can have two on your team, when back in the day you could only have one. This doubles the tactical prowess of your battles, and recruiting them is super easy. Don't think that this is like other SMTs where it's like this trial and error hell. Y'all know what I mean. You talk to some goblin in a trench coat, you'll offer it up every single item in your inventory, plus some gold and a little bit of HP, and then just laughs in your face, and he vanishes. Nope, not today, Satan. You've got the confinement system, which works more like catching Pokemon. Thank God for that. You can find demons by pressing the right trigger and then either mashing the B button or just holding it down, because Atlas realized that old bitches like me have arthritis and we need to just hold it down. Once you have the demons on your side, they are yours to keep forever, and they're smarter too. You can now issue orders to them, toggle on or off whether they use MP consuming skills or they just attack. And again, you can switch demons on the fly just using the D-pad. If you want full control, you can have that too. The manual commands are just a pause menu away. It kind of reminds me a bit of Dragon Quest IV's tactics system, but with a real-time demonic flair. And yeah, even the demons now have voice acting, so you can expect to hear them sass you back whenever you try to confine them. But they do get a little bit nicer to you as their loyalty gets higher. The more that you fight with them and you have them on your team, the more loyal to you that they'll become. And then they'll start supporting you from the rear, giving you gifts, also healing you up, giving you buffs and extra bonuses, even when they're not in your active party. And it wasn't just the combat system that got a complete overhaul though, so did the detective system, and really just, the whole gameplay in general. The detective elements are really where this game shines. You investigate leads with demon abilities, read their minds, burn away barriers, or just, bribe people with cold hard cash, cause why not? It's Japan in the 1920s. And if you forget what you're doing, cause you will because, you're old and life exists, there's now an updated detective journal that tracks everything for you, along with a mini-map that has event indicators. Thank you, Atlas. Thank you for saving me from the curse of, where was I, what was I doing, and what am I supposed to go? Yeah, that's a thing of the past. Not only that, side quests are tracked in that journal too, and they've also added field encounters instead of random battles. Thank God. No more being dive-bombed every 3 seconds by a flying demon from hell whenever you're just trying to find that save point. And fast travel? Yup, that's here too, and it's just a single button press away. Not only that, there are 4 different difficulty modes. There's the sleuth mode, where you literally cannot die, the gumshoe mode, which is pretty much the sleuth difficulty, but you can die, Private Eye, which is the default regular challenge of the original game, and then Truth Seeker, for people who absolutely hate themselves and want to brag about their get good loot skills over on Reddit. But the best part, you can change the difficulty at any time in the settings. You are never locked into one of them. So now let me tell you a little bit about the story. It hits the ground running whenever this girl calls up the detective agency, and she says, "Hey, for my sweet 16 party, I want you to kill me." Yeah, I know, it's odd. But before you can ask her, what her frickin' deal is, some masked ninjas show up, steal her away, and then they perform some sort of synchronized death dance. It's really weird, but it's kind of fitting, I've gotta say. So, your job in town is to protect these townsfolk from the demons who live in the Dark Realm, which is like a shadow version of the real world, and it's the same map, just with, demons, and more danger, and various walls that, block you off. It is accessible through shrines and, little warp points and all that, and that's where most of your battling and gameplay will take place, but whenever you're in the real world, all the detective work will take place. So, for my final verdict, I've gotta say, this isn't just a remaster. This is like a redemption arc for this kind of forgotten series. Atlas took this cult classic and it treated it like it actually mattered. This isn't just like a new coat of paint on a PS2 game like some lazy remasters. This is a whole new ball game. They fixed the combat. They modernized the systems. They added in voice acting, demon AI, stealth mechanics, world map fast travel, and so much more. And if the full game holds up like this demo did, then we are in for a treat whenever it releases on June 19th for the PS4, PS5, Switch, Switch 2, PC, and Xbox. Raidou is coming back, and this time, he's bringing along 2 demons, a gun that actually works, and a jump button. I'll see y'all in the Dark Realm.